if you would please turn into your textbooks, and we're going to be on page 287. We're on page 287. There we go, right down there, 287. We are looking at personal budgets. All right, let me grab a couple of highlighters here. Get me a pink. That's two pinks. Let's go yellow. All right. So here we go. There are two types of expenses. We have fixed expenses and variable expenses. All right. So I got me some fixed and variable. A fixed expense, these are expenses that don't change from month to month. Okay. Versus a variable expense, these are expenses that are different from month to month. Okay. They vary back and forth. All right. So in the getting started, you create a list of expenses for a family of four, creating a budget considered. Let's see. We did not do that, but we can create a list of expenses. All right. So let's create some expenses that are fixed expenses and some expenses that are variable expenses. Okay, for a family of four. Now, some of the expenses that you guys can have are, let's go ahead and do fixed, variable. Okay, let's go ahead and split our page into two. Okay, some fixed expenses are some bills. Okay, car payments, rent / mortgage. Okay. Some variable expenses can be food, because you don't spend the same amount on food each month. You spend a very, different ones. Clothing, miscellaneous expenses, okay, like a doctor bill or whatever. Entertainment, if you go out to the movies, entertainment. Okay. Now, which expenses do you believe will make up the largest part of my budget? Okay, so if I'm looking at these expenses here, I've got a few bills, car payments, rent, food, clothing, miscellaneous, and entertainment. Which one do we think is going to be the largest part of my expenses here? And for me, I'm going to say rent / my mortgage. 9 times out of 10, you will always and should have your rent or your mortgage be higher than any other bill. Okay. Now, whenever you guys get old enough to have a house and your house is paid off, then your biggest expense, that'll kind of change depending on what you have. Okay, so create a list of future expenses that a family should save for. So I want to know, what should I be saving up for? Some of the things could be medical. Okay, if you have any medical issues, so medical bills. Vacation. Okay. You guys eventually would want to go to college. All right. And another one that you should be saving up for is retirement. Okay. You always want to save up for some type of medical bills. College would be a great one to save up for. Vacation and the retirement. Okay. So the Gonzalez family received their monthly statement from the bank that showed how they spent and saved their $3,500 earning during the month. Analyze their expenses below. All right, so this section here is actually auto. In your book, it should be easy. Okay, so I have savings, auto, entertainment, bills, food, and then home. Okay, all right. Identify the fixed and variable expenses in the Gonzalez family budget. Now, I've got this right here, and I want to be able to see which one is considered fixed and which one is considered a variable. Well, my home, which would be, I guess, my rent or my mortgage, this is a fixed amount. Okay, that amount is not changing ever. My food, that would be a variable amount because that can change from month to month. Okay. My auto, which means my car payment, that's a fixed amount. Okay. My bills, in this instance, I'm going to say bills are going to be a fixed amount. Okay. My entertainment, that's going to be a variable because there are going to be certain months that you can spend more on entertainment, whereas others you're going to spend fewer dollars on entertainment. And then the last one, savings. I'm going to say savings is a fixed amount. You should be putting aside so much into savings each time, okay, to where that's a fixed amount. Even if it's $20 a month, that's still more than what you would have, okay? All right, what conclusions can make about the family's expenses for the month, okay? So if I'm looking at this, which one do we think the Gonzalez family is spending the most of their money on? Where is most of their bills going to? Well, most of my bills is going to home. The least amount that's going anywhere, well, savings seems to have the least amount that I'm adding to it. So, most in budget is my home. Let's do it. There we go. Least in budget is my savings. Okay, is my savings. All right, estimate the amount of money in each category, show all your work and explain your reasoning. And let's see. Let's actually skip that because we're going to learn about this right here on 3.2. Okay, we're going to learn about this here on 3.2. But actually, let's go back. Sorry, go back one. Go back to this page. Go back to this page for a second. All right, on the Gonzalez, estimating. Okay, I'm not going to estimate the exact amount, but I'm going to estimate close to the actual percentage. Okay, if I were to take my pen and draw a line straight down, how much is each half of my circle worth? Each half is worth 50%. Okay, if I were to split this in half again, how much is each quarter worth? Each quarter is worth 25% of my budget. Okay? Each quarter is worth 25% of my budget. All right? Now, when I say that, I'm saying that home is going to be the most because look, home is all of 25. It's all of 1 quarter and a little bit more. Okay? Food, would we say food is more or less than 25? Well, it's only a section of it. It's going to be less than 25. I'm going to say that this sliver and this sliver is 5% each. So that's 10, which then that makes that 15%. Okay. Now, entertainment and part of the bills is 25. And then look, all of auto and all of savings is 25%. But take a look. Auto is bigger than savings. Okay. It's bigger than savings. So I would say that this right here would be probably 15%, and that would probably be about 10. Okay, just to give a good estimate. Now you're like, why'd you go back? Because that's going to help us in this section here. All right, it helps us understand this. Now please flip over to 3.2. Okay, so you can create a circle graph to represent a family's anticipated expenses for the month. So the household, I'm spending $875. Living, I spend $1,375. In my savings, I have $250. Determine the sum of the total expenses. Okay, so meaning I'm going to add up all of these things. So $875 plus $1,375 plus $250 is equal to $2,500. Calculate the percent of the total monthly budget represented by each expense. Okay, so I know my total is $2,500. Each of these little pieces right here are my part. Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm going to take my household expense of $875, place that over my whole of my total, which I found is $2,500, and I divide those two numbers together. Okay, which when dividing, it's going to give me 0.35, which is 35%. Okay, and we went ahead and did this for living expenses and for savings. So in living, I found that it was 55%. In savings, I found it was 10%. Okay. Bringing me my grand total of 100% for all three of these things. So living expenses make up slightly more than half of my circle, while household expenses make up about a third of my circle. The remaining portions of the circle represent savings. And you guys can see this. If I were to take my line and extend it here, okay, create a line going straight down. I have 50% and then 50%. Okay. And then if I were to cut this in half again, okay, I think I kind of made it, but I messed up here. Where is it? I'll just use this question. It's a good one. All right, there's this one. And then let me get my line here. Okay, and there's about that. To where I have about 25, 25, 25, and 25. Okay, actually it's supposed to be cut more like this. To get to your quarter, your quarter, your quarter, your quarter. All right. Let's do an example. Let's do an example. So I have the Jackson family. The Jackson family creates a list of anticipated expenses for the month. Okay. Mortgage, food, utility, entertainment, college, retirement, and miscellaneous. I'm asked to determine the percent of the total expenses represented by each category in the Jackson family's list. Show all work and explain your reasoning. Okay, so the first step we did here is we had to determine the sum of the total expenses. So I want to know, what do all of these numbers here added up together equal? So I'm going to have 1,000 plus 800 plus 400 plus 400 plus 400 plus another 400 plus 600. And I'm going to add all these numbers up together. Okay, well, 6 and 4 is 10, plus 4 more is 14, plus 4 more is 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay, so 22 plus 8 is 30. So 0, carry the 3. 3 plus 1 is 4, and I don't have anything else in the 4 spot. So 4. So my total monthly budget is $4,000. Okay, it is $4,000. All right. So to determine the percent, we need to remember our equation. Part over whole is equal to percent over 100. Okay, part over whole equals percent over 100. All right, so let's just start with my mortgage. So my mortgage is $1,000 over $4,000 is equal to percent over 100. Okay. Now, remembering my 10s trick, if I have a 0 on top and on bottom, they're going to cancel out. And it looks like I can cancel out 3 zeros to have 1 over 4 is equal to percent over 100. Well, look, I go from 4 to 100 times 25. What I do on bottom, I must do on top times 25. Well, 1 times 25 is 25%. So 25% of my budget is going to be spent on my mortgage. Okay. Now let's take a look at food. Food, I'm spending $800 of my $4,000 budget is equal to percent over 100. I can cancel out a 0 on top and bottom 2 times because I have only 2 on the top. So I'm left with 8 over 40 is equal to percent over 100. Well, look, I can't go from 40 to 100, but I can reduce it. I can reduce it by 8. So 8 divided by 8 is 1. 40 divided by 8 is 5. Well, look, 5 goes into 20, or 5 goes into 120 times. What I do on bottom, I must do on top. To get food is 20%. Okay. Now, my utility, so utility bills, I'm spending $400 of my $4,000 budget is equal to percent over 100. I see that I can cancel a 0 on top and bottom. To get 4 over 40 is equal to percent over 100. Well, I know that 40 can't go into 100, but 4 can go into both 40 and 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 40 divided by 4 is 10. Well, look, 10 can go into 100 10 times. So 1 times 10 is 10, which gets me 10%. Okay. Entertainment. Okay, I am 400 over 4,000. Well, look, it's the same thing. So look, my bills, entertainment, college savings, and retirement are all the same amount. So I'm putting the same amount away. So it's all going to be 10%. Okay, because I've already went and done the math. So entertainment is 10, college, 400 over 4,000. That's 10% of my budget. Let's see. I've done pink, I've done purple, I've done green. I have not done blue. All right, my retirement savings, that is also 400 of my total 4,000, which is 10%. And let's see, I need another color. Let's see, I have not done orange. It's a lot of colors. And then the last one, my miscellaneous is 600 over 4,000. Let's go ahead and simplify this down to 6 over 40 is equal to percent over 100. Okay. I can divide 6 and 40. I can divide them both by 2. Well, 6 divided by 2 is 3. Half of 40 is 20. Well, look, 20 can go in 100 5 times. So 5 times 3 is 15%. 15%. Okay. Now we have the percentage for every single thing. If I were to add up all of these numbers, I should get up to 100%. Okay? So I'm told to create a circle graph to represent each category of the Jackson family's expenses. And I'm told that each division is equal 5% of my circle. Okay, so green, for my mortgage, I'm spending 25%. So if each wedge is worth 5%, how many wedges should I have in my mortgage? I should have 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So I'm going to count out 5 wedges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my circle in half here. And then in half again. And I'm going to count out 5 wedges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all of this right here is my mortgage. Okay? So my mortgage is worth 25% of my circle. It's 1/4 of my circle. My food is 20%. So if each circle is worth 5, how many wedges should I have? I should have 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is my food. Okay. My utility bills, that's 10%. How many wedges should I have for the utility bills? 2. So I'm going to draw 2 utility bills. I'm going to say bills. Okay. My electricity, my entertainment, it's 10. Okay, entertainment is 10. It's going to get 2 wedges as well. So I need to do 2 wedges. And this is my entertainment. All right. My, college savings, that's 10%. That's another 2. So college savings, that's another 2. My retirement savings, That's 10%, so that's another 2. Okay. And then last but not least, my miscellaneous, that's 15%, which should be 3, and I have 3 wedges left. So I did my everything correctly. Not everything. I did my coloring of my wedges correctly. Okay. Now, if I did not have the percentage already up at the top, would I be able to determine the percent of each of these? Yes. Even if I didn't have this key. So if I cover up my key right here, and at the beginning, what I did is I cut my circle into quarters. I cut it into fourths. Okay. You guys told me up at the beginning that each half is worth 50 and that each quarter is worth 25%. My mortgage is 25% of my budget. Okay. It's worth 25%. Now, food, is it worth a full 25%? No, it's worth a good, 20%, right? Even just looking at it, it's worth a good 20% because look, my bills, it's half of this quarter and then half of this quarter. Okay. But take a look right here. My miscellaneous and my retirement, both of those added together, okay, these two added together is equal to 25% of your budget. Okay. Those two together is equal to 25% of your budget. All right. This is which includes determine his minimum monthly salary in order to obtain. Don't need to worry about that one. And then don't worry about the last one. All right. If you guys have any questions over any of this, okay, your biggest takeaways from this is that you guys are looking to see which one's fixed and which one's a variable, okay? Being able to split your graph into quarters to tell me how much roughly is each section worth. So look, the home, it's a full 25 plus, look, a little bit more. So what would you say your home is worth? Now that we've learned about it on the last problem, I would say my home is worth roughly 30%. Okay, because it's all a 25 and then just a hair more. Okay, look at your auto and savings. Both of those added together is worth 25%. Okay, and then you guys should be able to find the total of all your expenses and then find the percent out of each of them. But if you guys have any questions, please let